Now let's talk about magnets. You guys have been asking me about these things, and I have just been putting this off doing this video because I'm not sure what model magnet this is, nor am I sure what model magnet this is. I'm still not sure about this one. But I called the guys at K&J Magnetics, and I'm going to give you their information here in a minute, and told them my dilemma. And they were kind enough to send me 3 magnets to do this video with, and I can tell you exactly what they are. And now I can tell you that this magnet that they sent me is this magnet. They're the same magnet. So that makes it a lot easier for us. One word of caution. What I just did is I almost really hurt myself bad. These 2 magnets are extremely strong. If you get these close together, they'll snap together with such a force that you will not be able to get them apart. And if your fingers between them, you probably still won't get them apart. And when you do, your finger is going to be very flat. They're very, very powerful magnets. I'm really kind of afraid just to hold them like this, to be honest with you. Let's just set this one down, and we'll set this one down. Let me show you the 3 different types of magnets they sent me and tell you why I think that they would be good for certain situations and not good for others. And at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and give you a clear picture of each magnet with a number so you know what to order if that's what you want. So let's take a look at the 3 magnets, okay? These are the 3 that they sent me from K&J, alright? Basically, this big magnet, and this is a very heavy, powerful magnet, is the same as the one I have here that I made up years ago. But the problem with this type of magnet, if you want to put it on a rope and throw it in the river, is that it's not threaded. This is threaded, but this one isn't. So this is where you're going to have the problem if you get this type of magnet, or if you already have this type of magnet. You'll have to get an eye bolt like this, put it through the hole, put a nut on this end, and then grind it down so that it's flush. Because it has to be flush with this, or I highly recommend that it's flush, because if there's anything sticking up, you'll lose some of your grabbing power with the magnet. So I would recommend, even though I don't have one, that you get this type of magnet with the thing already on it. But I'm not positive about that because they only sent me this little one here. The nice thing about this one, it has a hook already on it. But let me show you something. I just took the hook out of here, and this has a threaded eye bolt that just goes right into here, so you don't have to worry about fussing with that, okay? Because this isn't threaded on this end. So that makes it really, really nice. You can go ahead and use it right out of the box. The only thing I'm going to say is this. I highly recommend that when you put this together, you use some thread locker or Loctite or goop or something on these threads. Because I'd be afraid that this is going to back out and you're going to lose your magnet. So if you use some of this, it will never back out. You'll still be able to get it off. Now, if you have a cylinder magnet that does not have a hole in it, it's very difficult to mount them to picks or wooden handles like this, and you can see how I had to use cups and stuff like that to do these. And I can show you exactly how to do that, or how I did that, in another video if you're interested. However, it might be easier just to buy one of these, because you can take this magnet, which has a beveled hole in it, and just screw it onto the end of the pick like that. And the screw should be, flush there, so you won't have to worry about that. And it should be powerful enough to pick up most things. I don't know for sure though, so we're going to test this one out. Now, some of you may be tempted to go with a giant magnet like this on the end of the pick. I'm going to recommend that you don't do that. And the reason I'm going to recommend that you don't do that is because when you're using a pick, like I use the picks, and you pick stuff out of the bottom of the river as you're walking along, a lot of times you have to take your pick and shove it into the mud. So you might be in 2 feet of water, it might be a foot of mud, hard mud, and you can take your pick and shove it down in there and look for that cannonball, that gun or whatever that might be really, really buried. And if you have something this big around, you might not be able to put that into the mud very easily because, it's pushing against a lot of stuff. That's why I use a slightly smaller one like this, okay, that I can shove down into the mud, and that you may be able to just buy one of these, which is really simple if you can do this. And what I'm going to do is put this on a stick, and we're going to test it together. I don't know if it'll pick up a cannonball or not. I suspect it will. It's not as powerful as the one I normally use, but you don't want anything too powerful because you'll hurt yourself. And you walk by a car or anything with one of these, it slams on the side of the vehicle and puts a huge dent in it. You get your fingers between it, it's going to break your fingers, and they're heavy. I mean, you don't need anything really, really heavy when you're walking in the river and wading and sometimes having to swim the river. You know, a smaller magnet might be better, something like this, but we're going to test this one out. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right now. So what we're going to do with this little magnet is we're going to attach it to a pick handle. I'm going to show you how to do that, except I'm not going to actually use a pick handle. I'm going to use this piece of wood, and you just have to pretend that it's a pick handle. All you need to do is find the countersunk hole side, put the screw in it like this. It wants to stick to it. Go ahead and drill it into the end like this. That's all you have to do, and that's on there nice and tight. You might want to use a longer screw, maybe one with a slightly bigger head than that, but you want to make sure it sits down inside the hole. That's all you have to do to put this type of magnet on a pick handle. And keep in mind that on the pick handle, you don't want a giant magnet like this, at least I wouldn't, because a giant magnet like this is very difficult to push down into the mud. Because something like this, you can just jam it right down into the mud without too much problem. This is a lot more problem. And you'll find that if you're detecting like I detect, and you're in the mud, that you're going to have to use your pick to locate stuff that's buried, you know, down, it could be down a foot, 2 feet in the mucus. Alright, so let's do some tests. First off, we'll use this one here. This is the one that they sent me that I think is the little brother of this one. But I'm not 100% positive. So if you want a big magnet like this that already has a hook on it, you're going to have to call them and ask them, or look it up online for yourselves. But I will put the number for this one. 12-pound cannonball. It weighs exactly 12 pounds. I think it will have no problem picking that up. Let's go ahead and make sure. Now, when you set these things on there, don't put them like this and slam it like that, because you can actually shatter these magnets. These magnets are very, very brittle. So what I'm going to do with this one is just put it on the edge and let it go over like this. There. See, yeah, I will pick that up no problem. So if you wanted a retrieving magnet that you could find, a 12-pound cannonball, and pull it out of the river, I think this one would work fine. Keep in mind that if the cannonball is covered with rust and dirt and grime, this will not have near as strong as attraction to it. So if there was like an inch of junk on here, this might not pick it up, whereas a bigger one might. So figure out which one you want there. Now this is the bigger one that I think is the same as, I almost touched him. That is the same as this one, I'm pretty sure, but you're going to have to ask him just to make sure. But I'll give you the number to this one. But again, if you use it, you'll have to put your own hook on there. And I'd recommend just getting the one with the hook already. This is the one that I was really kind of interested in seeing. This is kind of a smaller magnet that has a countersunk hole that I put on the end of the stick to approximate a pick handle and a magnet like this. Now I know it's not going to be near as strong as that magnet, because that is a big magnet. But it doesn't have a countersunk hole, so it's very difficult to mount. So let's see if this thing will pick up a 12-pound cannonball. But again, be very careful with these, so when you set it down gently on edge like that. You'll hear it snap. Yeah, it's not near as strong. Okay, so that will easily pick up a 12-pound cannonball if it's clean. Now I think this would be fine on the end of a pick handle like this. Okay, I don't think you really need anything quite this big. Ah, jeez. I set the pick. I set the pick handle down next to this magnet. Oh my gosh, it about broke my eardrum. That thing was loud. You have to kind of pry them apart like that. Maybe. Alright, jeez. I have to put these magnets away. Alright, so I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and put the card out and take some pictures of the magnets so you know which ones they are. And it gives you kind of an idea of what magnets to buy if you want magnets like these.